Okay, everybody, here we go. It is me, Gregory Mannarino, and it is you, wherever you may be in the world. How you doing? I'm glad that we are here together. All right, look, I'm kind of giddy right now. Don't ask me why, because I have no freaking idea. But I can tell you this, we have a lot to talk about, really a lot. Post-market wrap-up on this Wednesday, August 24th, 2022. Before we even touch on the markets and some economic news, which is really pretty freaking bad. Won't shock any of you out here. But before we do that, let's touch on this whole thing. Student loan forgiveness. Mummy man, President Biden himself. Okay, what is this really about? It's multiple fold here. Most of you already have it figured out, but let's cover that. So what is he doing? He's buying votes. That's a fact. Is it going to work? Probably. The American public is so brain dead at this point. And number one, it doesn't matter anyway. You think a vote really counts? Honestly, you still believe in the old system? Tell me it's not true, because it's dead and buried. If your vote counted, you would not be allowed to vote. Just remember that. Okay, period, the freaking end. So, yes, not only is this, some kind of backdoor mechanism, President Biden's so nice. He forgave my debt. In case you don't really understand what's going on here, this loan forgiveness is going to lead to much higher debt burdens for those people who are, getting a little debt relief temporarily. And we'll talk about how that's going to work here. But before we get there, let's start off with this. So what are the tax ramifications of this? No federal tax. That's the truth. But when you discharge debt, generally what happens is you have to pay tax on it at the state level. So a lot of these students right now, all gleeful, wait till they get their tax bill. I mean, that's generally. Is it going to change? I don't know. Every state is going to handle this differently. They count it. They count the debt discharged or forgiven as income, and you generally have to pay tax on that at the state level. Now, here is why these students here who are getting this temporary relief are going to be facing a much higher debt burden, because you see, people are completely irresponsible. And President Biden is not stupid, although you may think he is retarded. Even though I use that word a lot of times, he's not retarded. He plays that role very well. Plausible deniability. But the fact of the matter is, the man knows exactly what's going on. So he knows he's going to buy votes here. Didn't tell anyone, basically, that they're going to have to pay tax on it at the state level. Because if he said that, people might think differently of the illustrious president, that he's not really so nice because he's not forgiving the tax either at the state level, which he can't really do. Anyway, but the bigger picture is, what's going to happen here is these generally student loans here have a very low interest rate. So the money that people would have put forth to paying off the cash they took out for their education, they're going to use that to get themselves in more debt. They're going to take out credit card loans, personal loans, and who knows what else, with much higher interest rates. So the net here for these people, just give it a little bit of time, is going to be a much higher debt burden. And it's going to play right into feeding the beast system. Right into it. So let me ask you this. So this debt forgiveness, where does the debt go? Does it magically vanish into thin air? No. It goes on to the national debt, what we all owe. So it's not, there are no free lunches here. You're paying for it anyway. You're making any of this shit up. Anyway, look, so that's the situation with that. So let's talk about some economic news. You're going to love this. So U.S. mortgage applications fall to a 22-year low as more people are being priced out of the market. Despite falling home prices now, the secondary piece of economic news is home prices suffer their biggest fall in July since 2011. Well, That's, because our economy is so strong. Ex-President Bidenstein, he'll tell you how strong we are. He's also going to tell you that inflation is zero. That's what he said. Look, it is what it is. Complete freak show on an epic scale. And as always, nothing is what it seems to be here. Watch. Just mark my words here with going back to student loans here. Yeah, sure. Oh, absolutely. Great. Forgive part of my student loan. Well, I have to pay taxes on it, more than likely. They probably don't know that at the state level, and they're going to be in much higher debt because of this forgiveness here, because they're going to put that cash to something else, credit cards, and like I said, personal loans, and they're dead. They've entered the world of debt slavery like everybody else, and they're going to be so much worse off. Believe me, worse off. They should have paid off this stinking loan. Anyway, let's go on. Let's talk about this market here. You're watching that 10-year yield, 3.11. 3.11. What did the stock market do? Not too much. Slight gains across the board here. Okay, we'll see how this continues to play out. I'm telling you, in my view, if this continues with that 10-year yield and global bond yields rising, the market's going to hate it in this environment because it sees this as instability, as you already know. I've covered this at length multiple times. The debt market is obviously unstable. If it were not for the action of central banks getting in here and buying it all, kudos to the ECB, European Central Bank, for admitting that they're buying it all across the entire Eurozone, but the Fed's not admitting it. They're not saying it, so it must not be happening, right? How does a central bank keep rates low? Can they just say it? You know what I'm going to tell you if you follow this blog. No, they're not magical. They have no godlike power at all. They may think they're all gods, the Federal Reserve presidents and the chairperson himself, because they get their ass kissed every time before they go before Congress. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your service. This is all loving, caring, policymakers kissing his ass, licking his feet. You name it, because they know that he's the real president, the real governing body of the world. Honestly. But anyway, so going back to the market, it's going to hate it if 10-year yield keeps spiking like this. Okay, whatever. Dollar had a slight loss today. Gold and silver relatively flat. Crude oil up about 1.5%. Bitcoin still over 21,000. That's where we stand. That's where we are with this market. Look, there's no reason to go running for the hills yet. I know the MMRI is rising. Did you look at it today? Link in the description of this video. Free to everybody on the planet that wants to have a look at it. Yes, it did rise today. Look, you got to take in the entire environment. You got to see what's going on. What do we know? We know that this whole thing is just a farce on an unbelievable scale. Nothing makes sense anymore. The debt market is the biggest monstrous bubble the world has ever seen, and that is keeping the stock market inflated for now until we get that implosion, which is coming. It's a guarantee. The debt market is going to implode, and believe me, that's not going to be by accident either. They're sucking people in as many as they can until this thing just goes crazy. When will that happen? No one knows, other than you can take a lot of the guesswork out of here by following the 10-year yield, by watching global bond yields, by keeping your eyes on the MMRI. It gives us a big clue. We don't have to guess. But this environment is so twisted. I fully, look, again, I'm going to tell you what I've been saying for the longest time. And most of you seem to agree with me. Most do. Central banks are going to do more. They're going to buy more debt here. In my view, they're not done inflating. They're going to buy more assets first, okay? Loan more money to nations for everything they want to do here, even student loan forgiveness here. It all just piles on. It's all about inflating the debt. Do you think, just logically, that forgiving all of this debt is going to actually shrink the national debt, or is it just going to balloon faster? It's going to balloon faster. Quite obviously. Again, there are no free lunches here. You think there's a free lunch here? No free lunch. Sorry. Absolutely not. All right. Now, with that said, I covered a lot of stuff here. Of course, I want to hear from you as always. I do read the comments, I promise you. So let me know what you think about all this. Did I get it right? Did I get it wrong? What's your take on this? And that's all. All right, look, I'll see all of you in the morning. Love you a lot. I'm out of here.